What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Sunday, December 19th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 9-game slate tonight. Now just make sure to check the injury report or on your fantasy site on DraftKings and FanDuel. Make sure to go back before the contest starts, before the first game starts, and check to make sure none of your players are out, because we got a lot of the illness going on and a lot of players that are getting pulled from the game. So it's kind of hard to know who's going to be playing and who's not going to be playing this probably for this next week or so, who knows. But you should always be doing that, but now it's extremely important to check your lineups before the game starts and swap out any players that are marked out. Okay, with that said, let's get into this. At the point guard position, I got a value play for you here. I like Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia 76ers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they've been pretty good versus opposing point guards, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker has averaged 25.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 28 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. He's projected at 23.9 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.7 times value. He's only $4,200 at DraftKings salary, $600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 212 points scored in this game, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker has scored 23, 18, and 22 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 29, 21, and 30 minutes. And he scored 36 fantasy points in his last game versus the Philadelphia 76ers. In his last 5 games, he's scoring between 22 to 28 fantasy points. Only had 1 out of the 4 games under 22 fantasy points, and that was at 18. So I think this is a pretty decent value play. So I like Nickeil Alexander-Walker here versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I got another value play for you here. Take a look at Lonnie Walker from the San Antonio Spurs playing the Sacramento Kings, who have the 3rd worst defense overall. They give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards, and Lonnie Walker has averaged 20.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 23 minutes per game with a 23% usage rate. He's projected at 21.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.4 times value. He's $4,000 DraftKings salary, $1,300 more on FanDuel. So I love that DraftKings price. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 225.5 points scored in this game. Now, Lonnie Walker scored 37 fantasy points in 29 minutes last game. He should be good to go here tonight. Great matchup. So I like Lonnie Walker, who scored 21, 22, and 25 fantasy points in his last 3 games here versus the Sacramento Kings. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. I like Dylan Brooks from the Memphis Grizzlies playing the Portland Trailblazers, who have the 10th worst defense overall. They give up the second most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Dillon Brooks has averaged 29.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 28 minutes per game with a 30% usage rate. He's projected at 32.3 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 6,300 DraftKings salary, 200 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 220.5 points scored in this game. And Dillon Brooks has scored 36, 39, and 36 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 33, 37, and 27 minutes. So I like Dillon Brooks, who has scored 39, 24, 35, and 35 fantasy points in his last 4 games here versus the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. I like John Collins from the Atlanta Hawks playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have a good defense overall. They're middle of the pack defending opposing power forwards. John Collins has averaged 34.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 34.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 6,700 DraftKings salary, 700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 220 points scored in this game. And John Collins has scored 41, 39, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 32, 36, and 25 minutes. So I like John Collins here versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, moving on to the center position. I got a stud pick for you here. He's been playing well the past couple of games, so let's see if he can continue that momentum. I like Karl Anthony Towns from the Minnesota Timberwolves playing the Dallas Mavericks, who have a good defense overall, but they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing centers. Karl Anthony Towns has averaged 45.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 28% usage rate. He's projected at 45 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.7 times value. He's 9,600 DraftKings salary, 300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 214.5 points scored in this game. And Karl Anthony Towns has scored 56, 52, and 41 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 32, 35, and 34 minutes. So I like Karl Anthony Towns here versus the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, now if you're not feeling Karl Anthony Towns, because he really hasn't been playing all that well this season. I mean, I expect this guy to get 50 plus fantasy points like every game, only averaging 45.4, so that's not fantastic, but he is playing well the past couple of games. But there's another center pick that I like who's been hot. I like Jonas Valanciunas from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the Philadelphia 76ers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they're middle-of-the-pack defending opposing centers. Jonas Valanciunas has averaged 41.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. He's projected at 43 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.4 times value. And he's only 8,000 DraftKings salary, 200 less on FanDuel. So I like that price on both sites. We know Vegas thinks there's going to be 212.5 points scored in this game. And Jonas Valanciunas has scored 41, 45, and 40 fantasy points the last 3 games, playing 39, 34, and 32 minutes. Now, he doesn't have the best track record in his last 4 games versus the 76ers, but he is playing a ton of minutes and his salary's low, so I think the risk to reward here is pretty good given his upside. So I like Jonas Valanciunas here versus the Philadelphia 76ers. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.